DJ update 5.2.4. Let's get into it. What's up, my fearless friends? Shay Sean PhearNone McPherson back to you with another Gear and Gadgets, where I like to talk tech, apparel, and gear for DJs, musicians, and artists alike. Today we're getting into DJ update 5.2.4. But first, let's unpack it, and then we'll look at the new features. There's about 4 of them. So now that we got that downloaded, the first feature in 5.2.4 has to deal with the sampler. You can now adjust and save the volume for individual samples. So that's important because sometimes your samples, like the air horn, will be louder than other samples. So you can really adjust that. And the way you adjust that is you go in to this little pencil near Essentials, and you'll see these knobs turn on, and you can bring them up or down. So I'll bring this air horn down, but you can still have loud. Another new feature is beat detection. BPM changes are now visualized on the waveforms and can be adjusted in settings / appearance. So now I'm showing you, as I pull down the slider and pull it up, you see the waveforms condense and expand. And there's a better way to see this. Let me show you. We can go here and change from jog wheel, switch that off, and now you get the waveforms horizontally, and it's bigger, so you can see how the dramatic change when you actually pull the waveform slower or faster, and that might help you. And the way you can get that, like they said, is through appearance. And then you go all the way down here and you say show minute markers and show BPM change markers. Beat detection added setting to configure tempo change detection automatic versus off. And if you want it off, you have to leave it on use straight BPM. If you look here, you'll see 62 BPM. If I start this track, you'll saw that 62 BPM go by, and you see it's jumping down to 61, 60, 62. And it locks right there at 67.3 for a second. I found that this could be helpful when you're trying to sync up or blend songs as well. And again, the way you get to this is you go to settings and you go down to library and you scroll down to tempo change detection, and you see it here, detects and adapts to dynamic tempo changes and fluctuations when it's on, and then off, it ignores any tempo changes or fluctuations. They also added media library support for selecting and dragging multiple playlists. And hardware, they added support for the Hercules Impulse 200 MK2, which is very cool because it's a cheaper controller and it lets people get into the DJ ecosystem at a cheaper price point. So that might be cool for DJs starting out or just a backup deck. Beat detection also improved overall track BPM for tracks with varying values. All tracks will be reanalyzed, beat grids are unaffected. And I showed you examples of that with the varying BPM changing. Looping, support for polyrhythmic loop lengths when creating loop via in and out buttons. Looping improved auto loop quantization and behavior with polyrhythmic loop lengths. And another one with looping is leave loop when jumping to a cue point at the end of the loop. And I feel like all this loop behavior improved because of the feature I showed you earlier, where the app just can read the BPMs and fluctuations in the BPMs much, much better now. And here are some fixes, starting with looping cue points. They fixed edge cases when jumping to a quantized cue at the end of a loop. So if you jump into a loop and it's kind of like out of time, the computer will adjust for that. Looping synced, fixed possible drift issue when dynamically changing loop lengths of sync tracks on the fly. Another loop fix, they fixed auto loop value was not properly restored after turning off a saved loop. Again, with looping, they fixed inconsistencies, having saved loops of odd lengths. A fix with DVS, they motorized controllers. Or a fix with DVS motorized controllers. Fix possible noise with very slow or accidental platter movements. Effects fix. Fix beat-based effects, sometimes not initialized, with current BPM on first song loaded. Waveforms. They fix start cue visualizations in overview waveform patterns overlapping other cue points. MIDI or MIDI mapping, they fix new configurations being generated on every reconnect. Another fix with MIDI mapping, they fixed effects enabled MIDI outstate when changing effects routing. A fix with media library, they fixed sorting by source in my collection. A media library fix, they fix possible app slowdown due to iCloud sync, which will definitely help you when out in the field. And they fix various fixes and improvements, which they always put. And hardware improvements, the DJAY FLX10 fixed sound, color, effects display not respected. The Denon SC Live 2 and 4, they fixed master meters not respecting master volume. On the Hercules T7, they made the mic knob mappable, added support for start and stop settings. On the Rain 4, they mapped instant effects to scratch bank. On the Tractor Control S2, they added support for the microphone input. Once again, please subscribe. Please give me any suggestions on any new content that you might want to see. I really appreciate your support. Shay Sean Fan, I'm McPherson, out.